Okay, so today's EXP is going to be focused on how we can leverage our listings to get more business and lead generate, as well as be able to promote listings. And so when you log into your KVCORE, you should be at this page over here. And what you're going to do is go to listings, and then right here where it says company listings, the second one down. So again, listings on the left-hand side. And if you don't see that, you just have to hit this three little, I call it this the hamburger icon. And this will allow it to expand listings, and you come down to company listings. And this will take actually all the listings that are any EXP agent in that MLS. So if you notice, if I scroll down, it's going to tell you there's roughly 2,299 listings in here. So there's 50 pages worth of listings in here. And what you could do is if you click on location, it'll go ahead and alphabetize the city and get it organized by alphabet right here. And then if you do price, it'll do it by price instead. So you've got any of these items to do. And the critical thing with this is to take a look at your area that you want to focus on. For example, I'm going to see, we can do St. Cloud, for example. So if I do St. Cloud here, I notice that there's this listing here that as long as it's active, oh, this is actually pending. It looks like a lease. So I'm not going to use this one. Let me go back and let's see. Let's do this Winter Park one, although that's a little too pricey. I didn't want to go that expensive for right now, only because bear with me 1 second. Let's select. Okay, this one's 320,000 in Deltona. Let's say we want to focus on Deltona. So I'm going to click on this one. Let's just make sure it's, okay, this looks like it's active here. A couple of things that you could do. If you click on this matching buyers, if you had someone who was actually in your KVCORE that you'd set up a buyer alert for, property alert, and that property alert matches the price range, city, and the number of beds or square footage, it would tell you right here. So if you have any buyers that you've gotten at an open house, if you're doing online lead gen for buyers, referrals from other agents, or any vendors, you can actually put them into your CRM. If you've got them set up for a property alert, and then if you hit matching buyers, it'll actually look in your database to see, do you have a potential match for this property type? Excuse me, guys, 1 second. Okay. So over here, now that I have this listing, I want to try to go ahead and I've shown you guys in the past how to do posting this automatically to a Craigslist. You can also post it to Facebook. But one thing you could also do is if you're willing to go ahead and do door knocking, you can actually go ahead and print this out and go to the 5 doors to the left, 5 doors to the right, and 10 doors across the street, and door knock and say, hey, my team and I would get permission from the listing agent to market that property from, let's see, we've got Kurt and George. I would give them a call and say, hey, well, I want to go ahead and, really promote your listing to find a buyer for it, bring you a buyer. I would go door knock and say, your neighbor's home at 1132 Treadway Drive, listed for sale. Here's the, real quick information about it. I'm looking to find a buyer for it. So if you're looking to pick your next neighbor, is there anyone that who you know of is looking to buy in, Deltona on this street? It's not necessarily that you're going to find a match with those door knocking, but what you are potentially going to do is be able to add to your database and also get to meet one-on-one with those home sellers that nearby this listing. The reason I say that is anytime a listing goes up, chances are that 1 or 2 homes either within that street or within the vicinity are thinking about selling, and they're just waiting for somebody to go ahead and list up there for them to list their property too. So that's one potential way for you to lead generate for additional listings. The other thing you can do is using this listing, I would be able to promote this on potentially Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to go on Facebook real quick. You can kind of see I was playing around with this a little bit. Everybody familiar with Facebook Marketplace?
I get a lot of leads like that.
Yeah, essentially it's kind of like the Craigslist, Facebook's version of Craigslist. You can actually go ahead and post properties for sale here. I haven't put one in thoroughly yet, so I'm going to play around with it a little bit. But if you go over here, I'm going to leave the page. I'm going to go back so we could see what it looks like. When you're in Facebook right here, up here, it's the little house icon. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yes.
Do you use your business profile or personal profile?
No, I'm in my personal profile. I'm going to go into Marketplace here. And then over here, you've got you've got the categories here. I'm going to click on create new listing. Okay. And then I'm going to pick home for sale or rent. And then over here, you can actually click and put for sale. It'll ask you property type, number of beds, baths. So as soon as I'm adding this in there to price, let's say this is at 475, property address, everything else you can put in here. What I would do is ask permission from a listing agent of one of our EXP listings to be able to promote it. And you can put it in here and get potential leads from it as well. You know, anyone who's looking to buy. Now, sometimes the objection is, well, these are not great leads. Well, there's no such thing as a great lead. It's just a great follow-up method and get them to qualify. The number one thing is to be able to ask them the right questions. If they're best messaging you, texting you, or calling you, to be able to go ahead and get them engaged and get them on a property alert, because this may not be the home for them. However, you say, I've got plenty of other ones, especially if you're looking in a different area of town, price point, number of bedrooms, baths, square footage. If you are looking for something that's a townhome versus a house, so that way the HOA handles all the exterior maintenance, whether it's lawn care, painting, anything else, it's a good way to be able to get some leads, is to use Facebook Marketplace over here. Let me go back into KVCORE. This function right here, where you can go ahead and click on more actions and click on post to Facebook. This actually is not posting it in Marketplace. This is actually posting it in the news feed of your Facebook. As you can see, it's posting it right here, and it says, where do you want to share it? Whether it's a specific page you manage in a group or on your timeline. This is not bad. However, when you post it in Facebook Marketplace manually like that, you're going to get more attraction and more attention than if you were to post it here. And the reason is because not everybody's on your news feed. You know, you might have 3 or 4 people that might like the property, but they're already your friends or family or somebody who you're connected with. What we're looking for is additional new leads. So although this is not a bad way to put it, to promote it, I would still use Facebook Marketplace to be able to get more leads out of that. So all you have to do is, especially if you already have a listing, you should absolutely have this function done. Okay. I'm playing around with it now. So as soon as I get some best practices, I'll share it with you guys on the future calls as well. Lizette, do you want to share your experience and what you're doing on this?
Oh yeah, no, I've gotten a lot of leads. I actually got a lead. I have a Winter Springs listing. So I keep them up until I sell it, even a couple days after, and people are reaching out and they're qualified buyers.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Nice.
I've set up already 2 campaigns. One of them I was going to show her. She saw my property. She actually came to see it, but she didn't like it. But I'm going to keep looking for properties for her. It's worked for me. I think out of all the things that I've done, my assistant does the Craigslist. I haven't had one lead yet.
Okay. What about Facebook? You have seen that come in?
Yes, Marketplace does work. I would say do this more. The other one, I haven't really gotten anything.
Yeah, I think the attention is going away from that and getting into Marketplace, only because the biggest difference between Facebook and Craigslist is that Facebook is on your phone, right? You don't necessarily check your Craigslist on your phone. And Marketplace is right built into Facebook and it's part of their ecosystem. So they do promote that a lot. I'm on Facebook Marketplace a lot, just for if I'm looking for an item or if I'm selling something, usually like knickknacks here and there. But right now it's going to become a good tool and resource to be able to get additional leads. Now, let me ask you this, Lizette, when you're doing that, how are they responding to you? Are they sending you through Messenger or have you?
Messenger.
Okay. And what's your conversation? How are you getting them tied in?
They, is the property available? Typically, the automatic thing that they press. And I said, yes, it is. And I said, what number may I call you so I can give you some more information? I try to get their name and number because I want to call them.
Got it. And what's your, how many leads are you averaging and how many of those actually are giving you full information?
Ooh, the ones that were like, Kaylee Avenue, like 200,000, those, a lot of people, a lot of investors, a lot. I haven't counted, honestly, I haven't tracked it like that, but I know at least I would get at least, I say once or twice a week, each one. But the ones that
Okay.
are Kaylee Avenue were daily, sometimes 2 or 3 daily. So a lot of investors are, wholesalers and all that, they're looking on Facebook Marketplace.
Okay. So, have you ever tried or attempted, anyone on the call tonight, has anybody ever tried or attempted to go ahead and reach out to a for sale by owner? Okay, and when you reach out to a for sale by owner, I'm going to show you how I kind of do this. And this is kind of one thing I've been toying around with, you know, late at night when you can't fall asleep, I'm either going to be on YouTube or I'm toying around with this kind of ideas. So one of the things you can do is we're on Zillow. Okay, we're coming over here to sell. I'm sorry, yes, to sell. And I'm going to actually go back and just search for a specific area. Somebody give me a city.
City?
Yeah.
Atlantic.
Orlando. My kids are interacting with you.
Oh, the Atlantic.
Yeah, they're.
Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. Okay. Atlanta would work fine, but let's do Florida only because we have access to the MLS here, and this is where we want to sell. But one thing you do is you search Orlando for sale, correct? So then you can come up here and then let me go in here. Let me move this around a little bit. I'm going to come down over here for sale. But I'm missing something on here that I wanted. Oh, here. Okay. Other listings over here. Okay. Most of these other listings are going to be your for sale by owners and your builders. Okay. I'm over here real quick for sale. Okay, I'm going to come here. I'm going to take by agent out. I'm going to do new construction out, coming soon, auction and foreclosures. Okay, now I got by owner. If you notice by owner, it says 0 because agent listings. Well, because it's not by agent, it's by owner. So there's 51 current listings on Zillow that fit the criteria of Orlando, and you can see the map too of where they're at. So if I'm taking a look in here, let's say that's a nice one, you know, 1.2 million, but I don't want something too high priced. I want something that's going to be right within. Okay, I like this one. This isn't bad. It's a nice home here. Okay, for sale by owner.
That's by my house.
This is by your house.
Mm-hmm.
Open house. There was an open house, but you should be prospecting them. But here's the thing: what I would do. This is listed at $315,000, 2-bed, 1-bath, 990 square feet. Okay. Here's one thing I want to do. We got to find out who's the profile of this buyer. Okay. Who's going to be the profile of this buyer? So, well, let's see. I'm not worried about what kind of family type they have. What I am worried about is how much is it going to cost? So one of the things you can do is just go to any mortgage calculator. You can always use the one that's on our Modern Mortgage website, which is modernmortgagevip.com. And I'm going to go to the calculate here and go to calculators. All right, I'm going to come here and calculate mortgage. Does anybody remember what the purchase price or the asking price is?
319, 315.
315. We're going to come over here to the calculator. So is this, I don't know why it's taking such time to load. Okay, so we're going to leave it at 30 years. Purchase price, we're going to change to 315. Okay, let's do 3.5% down because we're going to do this a couple ways. I'm always going to add whatever the interest rate is. I'm going to add 1% to it. I'd rather overestimate than underestimate. So if somebody buys this at the asking price of 315 and they're going to put 3.5% down, which would be an FHA, the down payment would be roughly $11,000 here, 7% interest. Here's their total all-in monthly payment. So if you click on advance, we'll be able to see what they're calculating for insurance and taxes, estimating. They're not calculating HOA, but this is kind of what the payment would be. So what I would do is I would say, okay, I'm going to make a screenshot of this or print this out because this is at 3.5%. I'm also going to do it with 20% down. That's a conventional, right? So 20% down. Now the down payment goes to $63,000. The payment though goes lower because you're financing less. right? So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Now what you can do is if you come back to Zillow here, I would reach out to this for sale by owner. And I would say, hi, I'm calling about the property at 9525 Turkey Lake. It's the one with the white front with the nice little columns there. Is that still for sale? Awesome. Well, I am not only an investor, but I'm also an agent. Here's what I want to do. I have a list that I'm going to create of buyers that either come to my open houses or I've generated online. And I want to find the perfect buyer for this home. I've already ran some numbers. If they put 3.5% down at your asking price, this is the payment. And if they have 20% down, this is the payment that we've already have. And this is what you do. If you take the payment that they have on here, so what do we say? For the one with the 20% down, the payment is $2,135. $2,135. And we divide that by 0.28. All right, that's roughly $7,625. That's the amount of gross income they need to make per month to be able to automatically be approved for this loan. I'm going to times that by 12 to get an annual figure. So I'm going to tell the for sale by owner, Mr. For sale by owner, the person who's going to buy this property, if they put 20% down, they're going to be roughly needing to make about $91,000 a year. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to promote this to find that buyer. Do I have your permission to promote this and use some of your pictures that you already have? And by the way, I'd like to stop by and take a quick preview of the property so I can tell people about features or any renovations or upgrades you've made when I find these buyers. Are you open to having a commission agreement with me when I bring a buyer and if they successfully close? So now what you did is you essentially got a listing, you calculated these numbers, you come over here to Facebook Marketplace, and with the permission of the for sale buyer, I would actually go ahead and put that in here. And now you got yourself a potential lead magnet. All right, you put in the price, you put in how much the monthly payments would be at 3.5%, at 20%, and you say these are estimates, but here's likely what it is. When those leads come in, now you go to your KVCORE and you enter those leads in your KVCORE. All right, you go in here under dashboard and you can go ahead and go to quick actions, add contact. You can put that information in here and you can track it. And then you can say, okay, this is the home that you were interested in. Let's find out, are you looking for other homes similar to this? If they wanted to see that home, great. Get back on the phone or on email and set up a time to go show that property from that for sale by owner. Now, you can also use a commission agreement when you're there, so you have an agreed upon commission of how much that commission will be. Remember, commissions are all negotiable, so there's no set wrong one to ask for. All right. But now you're essentially what you're doing is you're allowing yourself to target for sale by owners. As we saw in Orlando right now, just on Zillow, there's over 50. I think we said there was 51. I'm going to go back real quick. We're back. $51 listings right now. So if you're searching for listings and you're trying to find listings, there's 51 people who have not only raised their hand, but they've also given you all the information about their property by listing it in here that are looking to sell, and they need your help. Because here's the thing, if these homes could sell by themselves, they would have already sold. Maybe not these two that are just listed because it's an hour ago, 5 hours ago, but they need your help. And the best way to help as well is to just reach out and say, I'm looking to find a buyer. Here's the most typical buyer for this property, because they would, here's how much they need to afford, because here's the payment. I already ran the payment of how much it would be. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see about getting a buyer that fits that description that can afford to buy this house. And I need your permission so I can go ahead and market it so I can find that buyer. Does that make sense? Any questions on that?
Awesome.
I don't see who that was. Sorry.
It was me, Nancy.
Oh, hi, Nancy.
Hi.
Yes. So if you're struggling to get listings and you don't want to, cold call or anything like that, for sale by owners is kind of a warm call because they've already raised their hand and they're already showing you what they're selling. Right now, will all 51 of those work? No. Will most of them work? Maybe. Will some of them work? Yeah. There'll be a handful there that what I call is for sale by owners have like a expiration date. You know what I mean by that? Like if you have milk in the fridge, it gives you expiration date.
Oh.
For sale by owners have expiration dates as well, because at some point, usually it's week 2 or 3, where their belief in being able to sell it by themselves is deteriorating every day. So day 1, right now, these two, they have 100% belief that they're going to sell their home on their own without putting in the MLS, without having a professional agent market it, negotiate it, put signage out, anything like that. 100% right now. By the end of this week, that 100% might now be down to like 94% confidence that they're going to sell it on their own. By week 2, that might be down to 70%. By the end of week 3, though, it could be less than 50%, because a lot of times they're going to get investors calling, they're going to get realtors calling, right? The investors are probably going to offer them either below what the market value probably is, right? Or they want terms like we owner finance, seller finance, put it under contract and trying to flip that contract. And real estate agents are going to call to try to get the listing. But what I'm telling you guys to do is, instead of trying to get the listing, how about if we try to go find a buyer? Because here's the beauty of it. If I be able to promote that and I find a buyer and the buyer doesn't buy that property, guess what? I have an inventory of at least 299 homes, just EXP listings, not to mention how many listings are actually in the MLS and stellar MLS that I could sell them to. So this is how you do buyer lead generation, by being able to also show to a seller what you can do potentially to bring buyers for their property. And guess what? If you do have a buyer for that property, I would charge them commission. What would I charge? I would probably charge 5%. You can charge whatever you want. But I would say, what I do is I target exactly who needs to buy this home, not just anybody. I know what kind of income they're going to need. I know how much down payment they're going to need. And then at the time when that's for sale by owner, especially if you've been listening, if you've been communicating with them, say, you know what? I know you tried to sell it for 3 weeks on your own. I've been looking, I brought a buyer, or maybe I didn't buy a buyer. Here's why don't we go ahead and get much more exposure and talk about potentially listing on the MLS? You could see kind of targeting I do. Lizette, you had a question, raise your hand. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I don't know if Tom talked to you about, I've had this conversation with him. When the seller for sale by owners don't want to pay your commission, you can actually have the buyer agreement, like you said, have them pay your commission, but then you can ask the seller for closing costs and that'll cover your commission.
Yeah, seller concessions, you can do that. But here's what I would tell you. I would say, here's the thing. When I find a buyer, I have a couple of options that we can do. The commission agreement's there. But at the same time, you can also tell them, if I find a buyer, because most for sale buyers will always tell you, hey, I'll pay you, X amount of percentage or X dollars if you bring a buyer. Great, I'm going to go find a buyer, but that buyer doesn't necessarily mean I have to buy this home. What I'm trying to use this home to generate additional buyer clients, because how many times do we do an open house and people who visit the open house, they don't buy that specific home. Our intention is to sell it, but they don't buy that specific home. But what do? Is we say, hey, well, I've got plenty of other homes that I can potentially show you that might be a better fit. So the key is to be able to get those buyers. Now, this works almost in any market, because let's go ahead and I am going to use Atlanta. So I'm going to do Atlanta here. And we went ahead and just checked by owner. Right now, there's 29 listings in Atlanta that are for sale by owner. This is a lot right here, over here. I'll tell you guys what, if you really want to become a great lot listing agent, find out how you can get financing for these lots, okay? And getting financing for these lots primarily will be through private money. And we've got a couple of companies like Go Mortgage that can do lot financing. They do have some minimums and some down payment requirements, but if you can reach out to a for sale by owner and say, I understand you've got this lot listed at 40,000 and they've been on 8 days on Zillow, say, get the details on there. Would you want me to help you find a buyer for that? Because the key for these lots is paying cash. You got to be able to finance it. So you got to be able to offer financing. Right. So that's one of the key things about lots. This is new construction. I would reach out to new construction companies, especially if they're a smaller builder. And right here, American Craftsman Homes. I would reach out to them if this is in your market. And I would say, I'm a local realtor. What I'm looking to do is be able to promote your homes and find buyers for you guys. Can we have a meeting, get together and talk about how we can do? I'll guarantee you most builders right now are definitely open to conversations. and finding out how to go ahead and do about that. Here's the beauty of it. Look at all their home prices in this one. These are pretty nice home prices to sell. And the beauty of it is they're brand new, or most of them at least. Okay. Let me come back here. I'm going to go and I'm going to pick another city. Let's do a smaller city. Let's
Ormond
do
Beach. Do Ormond.
Ormond.
There's a for sale by owner on Melrose that I stopped by, Ally, and
Mhm.
spoke with them.
16 listings right now for sale by owner. Okay.
I think it's
this one-
285 Melrose.
This one I would tell you is a good one right here. I like this one here.
Oh, I sold one on Melrose Street.
In Ormond?
Oh, no, never mind. It's not Ormond, but it's the same street name.
Yeah.
1.8 million right here.
Okay.
This one been on the market for 78 days. This one 41 days. For sale by owner, 36 days. 76 days. These are the people who need our help. They've been on the market for that long in one of the best markets, and I don't know if they've sold or not. Great conversation piece to have. I'm not looking to get your listing. How about if I try to market that and find a buyer for it? Because this is what it's going to do. I know 310,000 what the monthly payment will be. If you divide that by 0.28, it'll tell you how much gross income that person needs to make every month. Multiply that by 12, that'll give you your annual income. That's the target buyer we need. We need somebody who makes $92,000 a year, or if it's a husband and wife or a couple or a co-borrower, they need to be bringing roughly 45,000 each to be able to afford to buy this home. All right.
Ally,
Yes.
what is the 2.8?
So basically, when we look at lending, oftentimes people or most buyers think that when they submit a loan and it goes to underwriting, that evil underwriter up in, wherever they're sitting in their office, that they're making judgments. They don't make any judgments. It's all based on guideline. So if your monthly mortgage payment is 28% or less of your gross monthly income, on that aspect, it's an automatic approval just for the income. We're not looking at credit or down payment yet, but just for the income, 28% or below is an automatic approval. So for example, if a borrower or two borrowers are making $10,000 a month of gross income, if you multiply that by 0.28, that means that they can afford a monthly housing payment, including property taxes and insurance, of $2,800. Right. So when I divide that payment right here, remember, this is the payment we had. If we were to put this purchase price, actually we'll make this 310 just to make it really applicable to this example we have right now. $2,100 is the all-in payment. That's your property insurance, principal and interest, taxes, and insurance, right? $2,100. So if I take $2,100 and I divide that by 0.28, that'll tell me how much gross monthly income this borrower or borrowers will need to show to be able to afford this payment. If you multiply it by 12, again, 90,000. They need to be bringing 90,000, put 20% down to be able to afford this payment, automatic approval. That's the target we're going after. I'll guarantee you that these for sale by owners that you talk to, they will not have done that calculation. They will not have seen that. And most of the agents who they talk to will not have given that information to them. And that's what we say is we're going to go ahead and market to see if we can find that potential buyer, because that's the buyer profile who can afford this house. So if you have somebody who comes takes a look at your home because it's for sale by owner and they only make $60,000, well, unless they're planning to put a lot down, they can't afford to buy this house because they can't get qualified for a loan. So does that make sense? And are they actually going ahead and doing that? And partly what you're doing is you're looking to generate leads from these listings. Question so far?
Awesome.
Sorry, technically, I think we should be putting some listing. If we don't have listings, we should be featuring a new listing every week.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you have think about it. If you don't have any listings, one of the reasons why with EXP is company listings. Here you go. We've got, as I said, we got 3 listings less. Maybe they went under contract. 2,296 records right here. Okay, you can search by applying these filters, search by the city that you're in, and then reaching out to these agents. I would always get permission from them. However, these are our broker listings, and the broker, these all belong to EXP brokers. So you could promote any of these listings. Just, I always give credit to whoever the listing
Yeah.
agent is.
Courtesy.
Yeah, but you can promote all of these listings and you can share these listings. You can go ahead and talk about these listings. You can run. One of the things you could do is, if you like social media or if you do a screen recording, you can actually calculate how much does it cost to afford a home in Ponciana, right? $319,000 home. You can actually do a screen recording of this, do the calculation live. All right, so you can see, okay, in order to be able to buy this, if you put 3.5% down, here's what it is. If you're VA, 100% financing, here's what it is. In fact, we could do that right now. If you are, this house was 319, right? So if it's 319, okay, and we put 100% down because they're VA, there's your monthly payment right there. Okay, and if we know that's the monthly payment of $25.87, we divide it by what number, Nancy?
2.8.
0.28.
0.28.
We divide it by 0.28 and it's going to give you roughly $9,200 a month. We times that by 12, there's their annual income. Okay. That is automatic approval. Okay. But if they don't have that much, now is when the underwriter will take a look and try to get, a little bit here and there, get their debt ratios a little bit lower, but that is an automatic approval right there if they meet that guideline. And then you could go back in here and really promote some of these listings that you have. Okay, now here's another thing that you could do. If you have somebody who's renting, okay, versus buying, you could put that in the description of the, in this description here. If your monthly rent payment is more than $2,100, you are throwing money away because you could actually buy a home that's $319,000 and then call me or reach out to me via the messenger for details. And then you can tell them, well, we have 0%, 3.5%, 20% down payment options. That'll tell you which one can you afford. I'll guarantee there's a lot of renters out there that have the cash, but they're renting either because they don't think they can afford or they're just scared to buy right now. Right. And they're just hoping that somebody will give them the details and reach out and help them. And that's one of the things you guys have to do when you're reaching out for these prospects is as much as they come away from showing that they know what they're doing, they need our help. They don't have our expertise. They're not in the business every single day in and day out and really having access to the professionals like title companies, lenders, insurance companies to give them the information they need to make a purchase. And to find out if it's even right to make a purchase, because sometimes it might be better to rent or save up to be able to make a purchase. All right, any questions so far or clarification? Anyone going to implement this within the next 24 hours by tomorrow evening at 7:30? I see Miam's hand is up. Lizette,
Yeah, I think instead of doing the Craigslist, I'm gonna emphasize that my assistant does this at least 2 listings a week, 2 new ones.
yeah. And here's one of the things that you can also do, and I'm not sure how this would tie in right now. I don't know if in this, I'm going to try it out in this Facebook Marketplace, if you can actually change the place where it gets listed to be like up in New York, or up in, like New Jersey, Virginia, or anywhere where you know that you've got people looking at these homes, but they're looking to buy in Florida.
Could you put that on Workplace and the referral? Listing referrals in Workplace?
You can't put this there, but what we're looking to do is put this in Marketplace in those, because a lot of times when I list when I list anything for sale, let's take a look right now. Let's say we're not looking at houses. Let me take a look and see if I can show My listings.
Yeah, that's the advantage of Craigslist. It goes, you can choose the area.
That's correct. And I believe I usually do it on my phone, so this might look a little different, but let me just double check here real quick. I guess I have to look at it on my phone, but when I post something on Facebook Marketplace, it allows you to tell it where the location is. So sometimes you can put in a zip code up there so that people can take a look, and that you're essentially looking for buyers, whether they're up there or they're down here, for you to lead generate on. You guys kind of see I'm looking for a classic Mercedes. As you can see, that's what's showing up in my search.
We'll get right on that.
Yeah, some of these are really nice. I mean, the only hesitation I have is I don't know if they work well or not, and I'm not that good at mechanic.
If they work.
My father has one from 89 back home, so
89? Yeah, those are nice. Yeah, you could see like this one's definitely needs work, but this one's not a bad one. But you know what? People are on these things, and homes are definitely there, especially if you've got a home that has a unique feature to it, like a really nice pool, kitchen. Maybe they have a great master bath with the double shower heads and everything else. Take that picture and put that on there. It's how you are going to generate those leads from there. All right, let me go ahead and I'm going to stop the recording for now.